chilling in Whistler here for a few hours. Just want to respond to Kurt and what he said regarding centering. Fascinating video. This is often the case. A few things that got me thinking about the nature of centering potentially. One is to look potentially at the idea that development doesn't start just with the human. It goes at least down into the animal and plant life too even. But you can look at even the perspectives of animals. You might say kind of like a mammal at least can harbor sort of a first and secondish perspective. A reptile maybe just a first impulsive kind of perspective. Humans can be objective and self-reflective. And so, in a way you might look at this as, again, sort of a fractal pattern. 1 + 2 + 1, 2, 3, or something like what you're saying. It's something that I've been pondering too with the quadratic theory of development. But when you stretch beyond the human realm, it gets a little bit more complicated because we don't really have access to the non-human realm. But you were saying kind of going back to the first person perspective as the center, to center and ground yourself. Now there's something that the developmental psychologists seem to suggest, and it's cognition is necessary but not sufficient for moral development. I think it's moral development is necessary but not sufficient for self-development. Now you can look at this as sort of one's objectivity, one's intersubjectivity, and one's subjectivity. And so in that sense, there's a developmental line through which you're getting more and more complex within your cognition, which matches really nicely with what you're saying. But how can I say this? The first person perspective is a homogenization. I think Aurobindo talks about this, that developed psychic capacities, or the psychic self, is really in part correlated with the homogenization of the self. And so he mentions that to be pretty well developed in that sense, you need to integrate your disparaging parts. So I guess what I'm saying is that even though I think you might be right that kind of that witnessing is kind of that subjectivity, that even that has arguably patterns that stretch back even beyond the human realm, and probably beyond before the human realm, and arguably beyond. So what might be happening very soon is that we'd be again instituting a new pattern of this sense, where we create or enter into radical subjectivity, which is actually intersubjectivity in a peculiar way, sort of the we space that we were talking about yesterday maybe. And that is in a sense sort of the expansive unity consciousness that is grounding, that is integrity, that is, so holding that, you have integral beingness in the world or something like this. And then through that you can play in the complexities that you find yourself within and do the art of living, maybe. It's a little bit maybe overly convoluted, but anyway, cool. Blessings.